Come out and play!
I can't! I'm playing Nut!
But there's Portable Nut!
What?
Yeah! It's a nut you can play with outside!
PSP. It's like a nut you can play with outside.
Gotta give credit to Sony when it came to advertising the PSP. The commercials were weird and made no sense, but they've been living rent-free in my brain for like 15 years. Ever since I started this series on Grand Theft Auto, I've been dying to go back and replay Liberty City stories. While I was technically playing both teams during the DS and PSP handheld wars back in the day, ultimately the PSP ended up being my favorite of the two consoles. It just had this sleeker look to it. More features like watching movies on it, but more importantly the games just felt bigger. Like Sony wasn't lying about their goal of bringing the home console experience on the go. It had some of the best games, like God of War, Chains of Olympus, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core, and of course Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories. Oh, and like tons and tons of JRPGs that I have way too many to list for this video. And the DS was still a beast too. Still got my copy of Chrono Trigger for it. While still hooked on San Andreas at the time, I jumped at the chance to own a portable GTA game, especially one that went back to Liberty City. Funnily enough, my dad took me to the mall to the exact same GameStop we went to go buy GTA 3 originally. Though this time around he just hung around the mall while I went to the store and bought the game for myself. And no employee asking for ID or anything either. Just, here's the game. Want the protection plan? No? Alright. Have a nice day. My favorite type of retail interaction. Barely any of it. Once I started playing the game, I was hooked. While it was set in Liberty City again, it played more like San Andreas, with better driving, smoother gameplay, and now with motorcycles everywhere to drive around. Though I was bummed out you couldn't actually fly a plane or helicopter. Apparently it was cut out of the finished game, but using a cheat device or stealing one during certain missions would let you use one in-game. I must have spent hundreds of hours playing the game during high school, but I haven't actually touched the game since I graduated. Was it a perfect portable experience to Grand Theft Auto? Or am I being blinded by my nostalgia of the game? Well, let's dive in and find out. Before we get into the video, I'd like to say that I'm excited to partner with today's sponsor, Aura. Aura is an easy-to-use app that gives you the right tools to stay safe online. Aura detects and blocks cyber threats like viruses, malware, and ransomware. Their VPN helps keep you anonymous online by protecting and encrypting your personal information and browsing history. It scans the net for scammers and hackers, helping you fight back against websites that have made your personal information public, alerting you when it finds your info online, and sending requests to those websites to take your information down, working to cut down on the spam in your inbox, or those annoying robocalls on your phone. Aura also gives you real-time alerts about suspicious credit inquiries, like if someone was trying to take out a loan or a credit card in your name. It offers other features such as antivirus protection, parental controls to limit how long your kids are online, and a password manager. Chances are you might have an app or two that already does one of those things, but with Aura, it's all in one, so you don't have to download and pay for several different apps. You can try it out for yourself risk-free, as Aura is offering my viewers a 14-day free trial. Simply go to aura.com/FuzzySlippers, or click the link in the description, or scan the QR code on screen. Don't leave your online security to chance. Try Aura and enjoy the peace of mind that comes with knowing your digital life is protected. And now, back to the video. Liberty City Stories is set about 3 years before the events of Grand Theft Auto 3, and stars Tony Cipriani. In GTA 3, Tony was a quest giver and a capo in the Leone crime family. But outside his relationship with his mother, he wasn't particularly fleshed out. And you don't even see him again after Claude's relationship with the Leone family sours. Hell, the first time I played, I had no clue Tony was even in the original game. I thought he was just some new guy invented for the prequel. In terms of personality, Tony's basically Tommy Vercetti from Vice City again. A hardened criminal who doesn't take anyone's shit. But his goals are the opposite of Tommy's, where he wanted to cut himself a piece of the pie and become his own boss. Tony instead focuses on proving his loyalty to the Leone family, and climbing up its ranks. Tony was originally voiced by Michael Madsen in GTA 3, but after he betrayed Rockstar by switching sides and voicing John Tanner in Driver 3, they recast him. I mean, that probably wasn't the reason why, and most likely it was because the game was a portable game and had a smaller budget, so they probably couldn't afford to cast him again, especially for an entire game's worth of dialogue. This time around, he's voiced by Danny Mastrogiorgio, who you might know from... there we go. Some episodes of Law & Order SVU. He does a pretty solid job, all things considered. He's got a good, gruff voice, and while the game doesn't exactly ask much of his acting chops, his interactions with certain characters are pretty hilarious, especially with Ma Cipriani. The game picks up after Tony returns from going into hiding, after he did the Leone family a favor by killing a high-ranking member in another family. Tony's ready to pick up his old life in Liberty City again, and go back to work. But things have changed since he left.
Mr. Leone, I thought we got history. I mean, I've done a lot for this family. And now you're expecting me to take orders from this... Well, it just doesn't seem right.
Tony, I know what you did, and no one is more grateful than me, honestly. But the idea that you walk in here and start to question my leadership right away is, quite frankly, out of order. Capiche?
Unfortunately, his time away has caused Tony to lose his status in the family, with other guys having moved up in the hierarchy. And despite his protests, Tony doesn't really have room to argue. So he's basically stuck as a grunt again, working under Vincenzo. I should bring up that I'm playing the PSP version of LCS and not the PS2 version. Some of you might remember a couple months back I asked for advice on which version to play, and originally I was going to go with the PS2 version, but man, it does not emulate well at all. I followed all the necessary settings, but the frame rate wasn't looking good and it had an issue with stuttering, especially around explosions, which is apparently a problem with the retail release too. So I went with the PSP version, which runs smooth and looks even better. It's crazy how good PSP emulation is. Like, the colors are way more vibrant, and the character models are leagues better than anything in San Andreas. Outside of some optional content, the only real trade-off is the less than stellar camera control due to the PSP only having that little nub. But I got used to it fast, and GTA 3 controlled the same, and it wasn't too bad.
This is it, Tony. Home sweet home. Beautiful, ain't she?
This shithole is supposed to be my home?
Oh, I think it's very you. Now you're disrespecting old Vincenzo. Now, tough guy, get your ass upstairs and go put on some decent clothes. I don't got all day, so move.
Despite what Tony says, I don't think his apartment is so bad. And unlike GTA 3, you can actually go inside and change your clothes. You can even heal yourself up in between missions. Like Tommy in Vice City, Tony will unlock various outfits throughout the game, usually after completing a mission or in order to do a mission. And I actually had a lot of fun changing up his look from time to time. It probably helps that these outfits lean more into, fun costumes, as opposed to just different variation of a mafia suit or something. After slipping into some fresh digs, I drop off Vincenzo, and I kinda don't blame Tony for disliking him.
Hey, apartments cost money, Tony. Just you remember who pays the bills around here. Me, Daddy Vincenzo over here. So from now on, you work for me. So I better see you back here real soon.
Can't wait to inevitably kill that guy. Our first job for this asshole is to find one of his drug dealers and put his lazy ass back to work. He complains that he can't as the Sindacos are pushing into his drug turf. Yeah, whatever dude, you'll be fine. Now get to work.
But it's just still here. I'm still not seeing any money coming in from that dealer. You know why?
Enlighten me.
'Cause he's dead, idiot. Some chump whacked him.
Whoops. Time to go put the beats to the Sindacos.
You want some more, asshead?
Something I noticed pretty quickly while playing is that motorcycles spawn everywhere in this game. Like way more than Vice City or San Andreas. Like I mentioned towards the beginning, you couldn't ride bikes at all in GTA 3. So I think the high spawn rate was to encourage players to grab a bike and get exploring. And explore I did. Man, I don't know what it is about Liberty City, but it just feels so much better to drive around its streets in a motorcycle. There's even new races and obstacle challenges you can complete while riding a bike. After avenging the dealer and returning to our good friend Vincenzo, our next job is to help a rat named J.D. O'Toole, who wants to switch sides to the Leone family, which involves killing more Sindaco goons, but this time with a gun. As far as I can tell, the aiming is exactly the same as in San Andreas. Very snappy and easy to swap between enemies. And its manual aim isn't too bad. It lets you slow down the reticle's movement by holding down the L button, making precise aim much better. Why don't the other games have this feature? After getting rid of these guys, JD reaches out letting Tony know he filmed the whole little spectacle, but that he can keep the Sindaco guy's car. Missions will be unlocked for JD now, but I'll get to him when I'm done with Vincenzo. Next, he sends Tony to pick up and save some of his other goons who screwed up a robbery, and who are now in the middle of fighting the LCPD. Nothing to it, just get a 4-seater, pick them up, and hit the pay and spray to escape. Returning to Vincenzo, we walk in on him enjoying some debauchery.
Sure, Mama. I'll call you later. Yeah.
Vincenzo.
Yeah, of course. Oh, of course. I'm being a good boy. Whew. Love you. Hey, Cheryl. Hey, sweetheart. Give it a rest now. Whew. Here, now get out of here. A little trumpeter for you. Hey, who loves you, Angel?
You do, Vinny.
Is that your mother on the phone?
Sure.
You're disgusting. Where's your respect?
Quite the degenerate indeed. Our boss here isn't quite done having his little fun yet, and asks Tony to pick up a car he's got full of coke. You know, it's interesting to see the Leone family dabbling in drugs here, considering a big part of their missions in the original game was getting the stuff out of Liberty City. I get an inkling that their drug business may end up going tits up in this game. My idea was further supported when the cops swooped in on Tony. God damn it, Vincenzo. After running from the cops and using the pay and spray, Tony decides to cut ties with his boss and destroy his drug-filled car. Guess I can go work for JD now.
Tony, it's your ma. How long have you been back in town? How come you don't come and see? What's wrong with you? I'm your mother, for her holiness sake. Come on!
Or not. Time to go check in on Tony's mother. Miss Cipriani showed up during missions for Tony in GTA 3. Well, not show up exactly. More like just yelling and berating her son from the window. Which hasn't changed at all here. In fact, I'd say she's worse.
Ma? It's me, I'm back.
Tony? Where the hell have you been? Not one so cool all the time you were away. They don't have phones where you were.
Oh, come on, Ma. You know I couldn't call.
A real man would have called his mother.
What is it with GTA and terrible mothers? Can't wait to delve into Trevor's relationship with his mom when I get to GTA 5 this summer. Subscribe and turn on that little bell so you don't miss out on it. Missions for Tony's mom aren't doing favors for her exactly. They're more just Tony trying to prove he's better than the people she compares him to. First, by proving to her that Casa really is a pervert. Tony heads to his apartment to pick up his camera, before following Casa around without scaring him. While it's easy, unlike other tailing missions in this series, there isn't a spookometer that warns you if you're getting too close. Just an occasional prompt telling you to back off. Following him around town as he picks up some hookers, I tail him to a secluded area, and well, I can see what Tony meant about Casa being a pervert.
Okay, ladies, it's milk time. Who's gonna be Mama?
Oh my.
Ah, come on, girls, get with the program.
Oh god, it's bringing back memories from that one mission from Yakuza Kiwami 2.
Doya, 楽しんどるが最高のプレイやろ.
Taking the photo and showing it to his mother, Tony doesn't get the reaction he was hoping for.
Hey, Ma! Take a look at my photo. It's of your good man Giovanni Casa wearing a goddamn diaper.
Is this how you spend your time? Sneaking around in the woods, taking pictures of men? What is wrong with you, Antonio? You shame me.
Christ, and I thought Luis's mom was bad. Returning to her, she badgers Tony about not moving back in with her, accusing him of being afraid of the local triads. So he needs to drive around and take some of them out to prove himself. One random thing I want to point out that I like here with certain missions is when you need to go after a target in a car. Unlike in GTA 3, where it was insanely tough to kill certain characters who were driving, I'm looking at you, Tanner. Here, if you do enough damage to the car, they'll usually get out and take off running, making it so much easier to kill them. Killing the triads didn't really impress his mother all that much, and now she wants Tony to prove himself by beating some other guy in a race. Also, she thinks he's looking too thin and needs to eat more. This becomes a running gag in the game, as a lot of people comment on Tony being too thin, which, honestly, I don't see. Guy's definitely beefier in comparison to someone like, say, CJ. But it must end up getting to Tony, seeing as he's definitely fatter in GTA 3. The race itself isn't too bad. I did accidentally make it tougher for myself, as I didn't realize starting the race wouldn't clear my wanted level. So I had the cops on me the whole time. After beating Sucho, we have to kill him and steal his sweet ride, which I immediately lose when I get busted by the cops. Oops. At least I still passed. Returning to Ma, she is as unpleasable as ever. This time annoyed that Casa has stopped paying his protection money because of Tony taking the photo of him. So Tony decides to put him in line, by persuading Casa to go with him to the sawmill, and then brutally murdering him. And returning his meat chunks to sell back to his own customers. Christ. Normally I'd say that's a little much, but if I had a mother like Tony's, I'd probably lose my shit and do something like this too. Especially if she pulled some shit like this.
Ma, you there?
Tony? I'm just on the phone. Yeah, he's here now. Okay, I'll school him. Fine. Tony? Come to upset your mother again, huh? You spend all day playing the tough guy? You never come to see me. Or bring home any nice girls. But who'd want you anyway? You look so pasty and thin. You're trying to kill me with the shame and the worry. Well, no more. From this point on, we're through. I've called a hit on you. It's really the only way, Antonio.
What? Ma?
You were always a disobedient boy. It's for the best, son. At least try to die like a real man. Try to stop shaming me.
Really? Putting a hit on your own son? And for such petty-ass reasons, too? Miss Cipriani officially wins the shittiest mom award in all of GTA. You'll have to survive several waves of hitmen, and even after killing them all, they've already taken payment. So at random times throughout the game, more hitmen will show up to try and finish the job. Honestly, I barely noticed them. Ballers shooting at you in Los Santos were more of a nuisance than their hitmen. Now it's time to check in with JD O'Toole, who is set up at Polly's Review Bar, the future location of Luigi's strip club back in GTA 3. Though before I can work with him, I need a change of clothes, as the Sindacos are unaware that he's a rat working to betray them. So me still wearing the Leon suit is kind of a dead giveaway about what he's up to. A nice attention to detail. If you thought Casa was a perverted weirdo, JD is on a whole other level.
What the fuck are you wearing?
What? This? Oh, I'm an adventurous lover, you know, I like an experimental side, you know?
Yeesh. Was the nipple cutouts and assless chaps really necessary? Our first job with JD has us driving around and collecting money from all his hookers. Next, he calls for help in getting Salvatore Leone out of the club, when the cops come in to raid the place. Another easy job. Just a quick trip to the pay and spray and dropping the old guy off back home. Now unlocking him as a mission giver. Returning to JD, while he's taking care of some special clients in his club, he asks Tony to protect the Leone gambling house the Sindacos are attacking. Another easy job. Just kill the goons as they drive up, then drive their car bomb far away enough it doesn't destroy the building. Next, we're the ones who need to blow up a building, as JD tells Tony to take out the Sindacos casino. First, it's a trip to good old 8 Balls to rig a car, then just parking it on the Sindacos' doorstep and watching the fireworks. That wraps up things with JD for now, so time to go check in on Salvatore Leone.
Hey, boss, you okay?
Do I look okay?
No.
Then what are you, a fucking moron? You're always saying the obvious. I can't believe I'm surrounded by people like you.
Sorry.
Listen, I'm sorry. Tony, you're one of my most trusted allies.
The old guy is in a tiff as the local union boss is demanding a bribe. If the Leone family wants access to the docks during the citywide ferry strike, since she's got him by the balls, he has no choice but to pay up, sending Tony to go facilitate the deal. Too bad she welches on them, running with the cash before sicking her goons on Tony. After escaping and returning to Salvatore, he decides that maybe he can just bribe her underlings instead. But instead of cash, we're dropping off hookers. It's pretty much the exact same mission from GTA 3, where you had to pick up 6 hookers around town and drop them off at a certain place within a time limit, earning an extra money bonus if you bring more than 6 girls. Returning to Salvatore for the next mission, I like how it begins. Something about how it was shot makes me feel like it's a movie reference or something, with the two of them sitting on the bench while the sun rises behind them. Continuing our antics with the Union, next we need to scare some of the top brass, which involves driving around, smashing their cars and their faces. You're not supposed to kill them, but the game does give you some leeway, and lets you get away with killing just one of them. Unfortunately, threatening the Union bosses still isn't enough, as the Union leader is still mouthing off and planning to continue the strike. So Salvatore needs us to scare her straight this time. First by Tony disguising himself as her chauffeur, and then driving her around town, crashing into cars and speeding until she gets the message. And once she does, we drop her off at the ferry. This wraps up things with Salvatore. So now we get to deal with his wife and no one's favorite GTA character, Maria.
You're late, typical man. I want to go shopping and you're driving.
I love this shot of Tony staring out the window, looking like he's questioning his life choices. Maria is as unpleasant as she was in GTA 3, maybe even more so considering how shrill her voice is in this game. First, she needs Tony to drive her around as she shoplifts. Next, she wants to go pick up some drugs from her dealer, but ends up kidnapped by the Sindacos, with Tony needing to chase after them to rescue her. Dropping by her place, the running gag from GTA 3 of NPCs leaving you letters resurfaces, as Maria leaves Tony a note letting him know she's put herself up as a prize for a bike race. So we gotta go down there and win. Though she ends up leaving with another biker. Man, why the hell is Salvatore still married to her?
What have you taken now?
Nothing.
What was it this time, huh? Smack, downers, lewds, a little too much trumpet, not enough diazepam, a little too much sideways, not enough up?
Tony!
Who did this to you?
No one.
Who was it?
Checking back in on her, she's a sobbing mess. Turns out her new biker boy toy beat her up. She might be annoying, but nobody puts hands on my boss's wife. Nobody. Time to hunt down that biker prick and let him have it. After avenging Maria, Tony finds her a drugged up mess in her apartment, and now has to drive her around or find her next hit, eventually dropping her off at Salvatore's mansion. Well, that was pretty horrible. Sure hope she doesn't pull some bullshit and cause Salvatore to try to kill Tony. Going back to the old man, he's in the middle of a domestic dispute with Maria, and it's absolutely hilarious. I won't play the whole cutscene because it does go on for a while, but enjoy this gem.
You can't even get it up, you old bastard.
Not for you! I don't like using public toilets, you slut!
Salvatore wants Tony to pick up a drug shipment from the cartel, and to bring some backup with him, just in case. Arriving down at the docks, it's another familiar face, Miguel, Claude's one-time partner from GTA 3 who betrayed him along with Catalina. Like everything involving drugs in this series, shit hits the fan and cops ambush the deal. Weirdly, Miguel can die during this mission along with his cartel buddies, even though he's alive and well years later. Maybe he just respawned at the hospital like I do when I die. After escaping with the drug car, JD calls up in a panic. It turns out Salvatore has been kidnapped by the Sindacos. First, Tony will need to follow a Sindaco car to where they're holding him, and then ambush them and steal the ride with Salvatore in the trunk. I like the attention to detail here with his model updated to be bound, and just lying in the trunk of the car. Dropping off the boss, he's pissed and wants payback, which directly leads into the next mission for JD. Salvatore is returning to the club and wants blood, planning to kill every Sindaco he sees, so we need to protect the old guy and keep him from getting himself killed. I really like this mission. as it's a complete inverse of the mission in GTA 3, where you had to kill Salvatore. Like last time, you have to get up onto the roof across from the club to pick up a sniper rifle, this time using it to kill the Sindaccos and save the old man instead of killing him. And unlike last time, I can actually hit targets with my rifle. Thank you, slower aiming. After cleaning up all the Sindaccos, the Leone family officially takes control of JD's club.
Listen, I hear the Sicilians are trying to broker peace between the families. Sal's got something heavy up at his place right now. The thing is, he smells a rat.
All the fighting with the other mafia families has gained the attention of the Sicilian mob, who are in town visiting Salvatore wanting to broker peace between the families. Though the old man is suspicious of their motives, and asks Tony to follow their representative, Massimo. Following his helicopter around town, we first see him meet with the Diablos in Hepburn Heights, and afterwards with the Triads. Looks like he didn't want peace after all, as he asked for both gangs' help in suppressing the Leone family. Unfortunately, Tony gets spotted and has to fight his way through the Triads as Massimo flies away. I'm sure we'll see him again soon.
Tony! It's all happening today. I'm gonna be a made man. Me!
Returning to JD, it's his big day, as all his work assisting the Leone family and betraying the Sindaccos means he's finally getting made. On the way to the ceremony, we'll have to kill some Sindaccos who are out to kill him. Huh. A junkyard seems like a strange place for a made man ceremony. But what do I know? Maybe it's an Italian thing.
Hey, are we there? Where's Salvatore? Tony, the first drink's on me.
Hey, the guy was a fucking rat. He screwed over his own boss. Disgraziato.
Well, if you're wondering why JD isn't running the club in the future, that's why. Can't say I disagree with Salvatore's logic here. If JD was willing to betray one boss, who's to say he wouldn't do the same to him? Again, I love how the game takes the extra step to make a unique model here with a bullet hole through his face. Small touches like this really enhance the experience. Arrivederci, JD. Enjoy sleeping with the fishes.
Hey, it's me, Vincenzo.
Oh, what the hell do you want? Someone to pick up your laundry or wipe your ass?
Oh, come on, no, don't be like that. Listen, I feel bad about everything. Come on, drop by my place, I got something for you.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that asshole. Well, I guess it wouldn't hurt to go see what he wants. I'm sure he isn't going to kill me or something.
Yeah! I'm gonna cut you up, little man!
Son of a bitch. Well, I can't say I'm surprised. Vincenzo sicks his chainsaw-wielding goons on Tony, and this is probably the hardest mission so far. It switches the camera to an overhead perspective as goon after goon chases Tony with a chainsaw. You have to put some real distance between yourself and them to kill them individually, running away each time to do it again, as their chainsaws can take a huge chunk off your health in an instant, and can easily one-shot you if you're low enough. And it doesn't get any easier when Vincenzo decides to take care of Tony himself.
This is my town, Tony! My town! You ain't taking it away from me! I'm gonna enjoy this.
As he has a machine gun that can drop you fast, and he can soak up some damage himself. After killing that prick, we unlock the overalls and hockey mask outfit, which lets us participate in Slash TV if we come back to the tanker at night. It's basically this same mission all over again, but with more waves of enemies. Returning to Salvatore, we're thrown into a gang war with the Diablos for control of Hepburn Heights. Tony has to race to back up the Leone family, fighting off tons of Diablo gangbangers, and making sure that some Leone goons survive. It plays like the turf wars in San Andreas, though it's just one long wave instead of 3 separate waves. Despite winning, eventually the Leones do end up losing this territory in the future, as the Diablos will be driving around here in GTA 3. Catching up with Salvatore, he sends Tony off to collect some cash he stored in a warehouse near the docks. But the Triads beat Tony there, and after they blow up the place, he'll have to run around through the flames to collect the remaining cash before it burns up, all the while fighting off Triad goons. This is another ironic callback as Claude ends up blowing up this warehouse in GTA 3 when the Triads are in control of it. Well, we probably lost a few stacks of cash, but I'm sure the Don will be fine with what Tony managed to save.
Well?
Well, what?
Don't play dumb with me, kid. I was playing dumb when your mother was still turning tricks.
What's your problem?
I know what you've been saying about me. You think I'm an idiot? Huh? Is that what you think?
Boss, I ain't been saying nothing about you.
For a second, I thought Maria screwed over Tony by lying to Salvatore about her and him. All this stuff going on has put the old man on edge, paranoid that the mayor is going to take him down and blame him for the escalating violence. So he decides to try and fix it by confronting the mayor down at the docks during the ferry strike. Oh yeah, that sounds like a sound and reasonable plan.
Jesus Christ, the cops are crawling all over this place. Get us the fuck out of here.
Where are we going?
Well, looks like we fucked up. Running from the cops, we hop over Callahan Bridge and decide to lay low in Staunton Island, bringing an end to our time in Portland for now. Conveniently, this little stunt apparently caused the strike to end, as the subway and the ferry are both now running, though access to Shoreside Vale is still cut off by workers striking. The subway and ferry work as fast travel around Liberty City. Well, the subway does anyhow. The ferry is about as fast as an actual ferry in real life. They're neat little additions and definitely make Liberty City feel more lively, but they don't feel necessary. Liberty City's map is so small, you could get around it by driving much faster than hopping on the subway or ferry. Hell, now that there's actually an in-game map, it's even easier to get around. First order of business while we're lying low is to go and kill the mayor. Well shit, that really escalated. I would have thought Salvatore would want to go after the union boss or something, but okay then. Mayor R.C. Hole is jogging around the park with armed security, so I just need to run in there, take out his guards, and end his chances at re-election. Afterwards, things start a bit ominous, when Salvatore leaves Tony a note with instructions to wait and get picked up by Mickey, then getting dropped off to meet the Don at a remote location. But, unlike JD, who got a new hole in his head, Tony is rewarded for all his hard work, as Salvatore Leone officially makes him a made man. It's actually really nice to see. His mom is even proud.
Tony, it's your ma. I just heard you've been made. I never doubted you for a second, son. And seeing as how you've finally proven yourself, I'm cooling off that contract I put on you. Let's just put it behind us. After all, I only did it with your best interest at heart.
She'll call up to tell Tony she's called off the hit on him. Looks like everything is coming up Millhouse. With the mayor dead, the city is going to need a replacement, and someone in the Leone family's pocket. Salvatore knows just the guy. Our old friend, Donald Love.
2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 5, 3. Antonio, how wonderful to see you!
What's going on?
We're having a party, dear boy, a party. Yes, a morgue party. The first of the season!
Whoa, what the fuck you talking about? A morgue party?
Love is a little different from the character we see in GTA 3. Well, actually, a lot different. Almost like he's a completely different character. In GTA 3, he's this really calm and professional businessman who had this air of mystery to him as you could never quite understand what he was thinking. Here, he's really over the top and flamboyant, is quick to lose his cool when shit goes south, kinda neurotic and a bit annoying at times. And now he's a cannibal, which is kinda awesome actually.
Eating? He eats people? It's awesome.
That's not awesome. Why do you guys think that eating people is awesome?
It just is.
It's really jarring, especially if you played GTA 3 recently like I have. Though Love does go through a character arc during the story, so you could argue the experiences here ultimately end up shaping him into the man he'll be in 3 years. Anywho, this first job for him needs us to steal a dead body to eat. Right on. Next, we're doing some campaigning, with Tony hitting up local areas to try and get Donald Love the vote.
O'Donovan has 3 wives. Who ate all the pies? O'Donovan. O'Donovan is a junkie.
Dropping in while Love is enjoying his meal, he suggests we use more direct means of trying to seize the vote, which means driving around and killing his opposition's campaign workers. Really gotta love the democratic process at work. But this still isn't enough to swing the vote in Love's favor. As it turns out, the Forellis may or may not be rigging the vote with their shady voting machines. So it's best to take no chances and destroy the ballots. This unlocks Phil Cassidy's weapon shop, where the best weapons in game can be bought. And Love went ahead and paid for a flamethrower to help Tony. Ah, I love the smell of burning Forellis and voting ballots in the morning. It smells like democracy! Unfortunately, 2 can play at this more aggressive campaigning, as the Forellis decide to feed us some of our own medicine, as they put a hit on Donald Love. Tony rides shotgun in his limo to protect him, but the pair are ambushed by the Forellis soon after. And despite surviving the encounter, Donald Love is now basically on house arrest, or else risk getting his ballot punched. Despite all the meddling we've done, the polls show that Love and his rival O'Donovan are neck and neck. Wow, either the Forellis are just as effective as we are at rigging this thing, or Donald Love is just a shitty choice for mayor. Whatever the reason, Love wants Tony to drive around and collect uncounted votes and replace them with votes for him. This wraps things up for Donald Love for now. Hopefully his mayoral campaign goes well. While I have the option to catch up with Salvatore Leone, all this murder and undermining of democracy has left me guilt-ridden. Time to head to church to be absolved of my sins.
Forgive me, Father, for I've sinned.
Shit, the devil's hit pay dirt with you, Antonio. Now either you can go off and say Hail Marys, or you can do the Lord's dirty work.
No, the second option's more my bag.
Wow, even the priests in this town are dirty. The father wants Tony to take out someone planning to turn over evidence to the FBI that will expose a bunch of athletes who've been doping. First, Tony will steal an FBI car from a crime scene, and then head over to meet the informant. After he's made Tony, you just have to kill him and grab the report. Though, weirdly, instead of bringing it back to the father at church, you drop it off at the Liberty Tree newspaper building instead. Maybe the father knows a guy who works there or something. Returning back to the house of the Lord, the father wants Tony to get back some stolen diamonds from some gangsters, the priest promising to get them back to their original owners. Heading down to the ferry, Tony will have to fight off a small army of goons, along with shooting down a chopper, to retrieve the diamonds and drop them off at Liberty Tree again. Returning to church, it seems the father is very environmentally conscious, as he wants Tony to steal a fire truck and cause as much mayhem as possible, to get those carbon-spewing cars off the road. Seems a little counterproductive. If anything, I'm making things even worse. But who am I to question the word of God? This one was a bit tricky at first, as I wasn't quite sure the best way to fill up the rating meter. But really, if you drive up and down this stretch of road and drive into every car, bike, and person you see, you'll fill it up fast. We're not done killing in the name of the Lord yet, as next the priest wants us to kill 3 celebrities before they reach a radio station for an interview. This one can be tough to accomplish, as each celebrity is coming into the city from different locations and in different vehicles. One by limo, one by bulletproof car, and the last by helicopter. Assuming you don't look up a guide beforehand, chances are you're going to fail this one once or twice till you can map out the optimal route to get to them. Best to use a rocket launcher too, to finish them off fast so you have time to move on to the next target. Returning to the father to report we've finished God's work, it turns out Tony's been played.
I have done what you asked, Father.
Great, the paper circulation has tripled since you found your soul.
What?
Thanks again for all your help, Tony.
Hey, what the fuck? Who are you?
See guys, you can't trust journalists at all. Now that our charity work is over, time to go team up with the old man again. Salvatore is convinced the Forellis turned the mayor against him, so we're going to interrogate the mayor's assistant about it. After kidnapping him, it turns into a turret section on the back of Salvatore's speedboat. I can usually tolerate turret sections, even if I'm not the biggest fan, but it's a little awkward here because of the boat's movement on water. Even with the use of the L button to slow down aiming, it can be hard to land your shots. Oh well, it's just a one-off. I'm sure we won't have to do this again. Salvatore will get the mayor's assistant to squeal, finding out that Franco Forelli is actually just a pawn of the Sicilian mafia. The Sicilians want a war between the Liberty City families, so they can swoop in and take control when the dust is settled. Look at that! We finally have an antagonist in this game. After Salvatore leaves to get rid of the mayor's assistant, he tells Tony to meet a contact of his that will assist with their war against the other families.
So you're the pain in the neck, huh?
Excuse me?
Got all kinds of important people very pissed off at you. Leon McCaffrey, LCPD.
Introducing Leon McCaffrey, a crooked cop working for the LCPD. At first I thought he was a new character, but as it turns out, he does show up in GTA 3. It's during the first mission for Ray Machowski, as he was a crooked cop who turned snitch in order to save his own ass and implicate Ray, which required Claude to awkwardly throw a grenade through his window and then kill him when he came outside. Here he's still dirty though, and isn't exactly the most pleasant guy, but Tony doesn't really have much of a choice in working with him. First we go attack some Sindacos, before it turns into another turret section as Tony guns the remaining goons down as Leon drives. Next we're sticking it to the Forellis, as Leon tells Tony to go and steal one of their bikes, and then lead them into an ambush by the Yardies. Afterwards we get a cameo from Ray Machowski.
I don't know what I did wrong in my past life to deserve you. Ray, you're 40 years old and you have no idea what's really going on. I don't know how you've gotten this far. I don't know how somebody hasn't put a bullet in your Mother Teresa head yet.
Hey, watch your mouth, Leon. I can't believe we're having this fucking conversation.
Looks like he was actually an honest cop before he started working with Leon. I'd call it tragic, but Ray ends up getting away with it all in GTA 3. Leon wants us to go after the Forellis again, this time hacking up at least 20 of them at the park using a katana. Good thing none of them have guns for some reason, or this might actually be tough. Completing the mission unlocks my favorite costume for Tony, Bruce Lee's jumpsuit from Game of Death. See what I meant about him being beefy? I don't think he's too thin at all. Returning to Leon, he sends Tony to go help the Yardies as their newly acquired turf is under attack by the Sindacos. After saving their asses, we're done with Leon for now, so it's time to go check in on Salvatore again.
Yeah.
Thank God you picked up.
What's up, Sal?
I went spying on the Forellis in Fort Staunton when all hell broke loose. The Sindacos have gone to war with the Forellis, and I'm stuck here in the middle of a hit.
You know, I have to give the old man props. He really isn't afraid to get his hands dirty and do work on his own. Though it's really starting to feel like the Leone family is only made up of him and Tony, as we hardly ever see or work with anyone else. First, we gotta grab the Leone limo, and fight through both Sindacos and Forellis to save the old man and get him to safety. The following mission has a bit of a creative setup, as Salvatore has gotten wind that the rival families are trying to broker a truce. So he's had his guys use some equipment to hijack Paulie Sindaco's car, allowing Tony to remotely control it and use it to run over and kill the Forellis. I mean, it basically amounts to driving a car in first person with a green filter, but I like the change up. Answering Salvatore's next call, someone has found out that the Sicilian mob is manipulating the Forellis and Sindacos and plans to tell Frankie Forelli about it. So Sal wants us to kill that blabbermouth, giving us a boat to go find the guy and sink him into the ocean. Leon calls up afterwards, telling us that the Forellis are running weapons through the city, selling them and keeping some of their own stock to help in the gang war. It's up to Tony to put a wrench in their operation by destroying their munitions trucks before they hit their destination. Afterwards, Leon cuts ties with us completely, as apparently the feds are preparing to move on Salvatore. Well shit, I should probably go tell the boss.
Tony, it's Donald. I have a rather pressing matter that requires your particular skills. Please call me at my office as soon as you can.
I guess he can wait. Let's go see what that crazy cannibal wants. Turns out that O'Donovan has gotten evidence linking Love to Salvatore, so we need to meet with one of his men and get our hands on that evidence. This is another one of those spikes in difficulty, as the evidence is being guarded by a ton of Forellis, all of them rocking assault rifles that will rip you to pieces in seconds. The game also had the forethought to block one of the exits out of this area, so you have no choice but to fight your way out. And even after getting the evidence, you'll still have to deal with a car chasing after and shooting you. I think this may have been the mission I ended up redoing the most, as I kept screwing up one way or another and getting myself killed. But after getting away with the evidence, at the very least this should ensure Love's campaign victory.
Although no links can be proved between Donald Love and Liberty City's organized crime, it seems his friendship with mobsters, including Tony Cipriani, have counted heavily against him in voters' eyes. The past few hours have seen his popularity plummet. He is deemed, it seems, unfit for office.
Unfit? Because of you. Yeah, and it's all your fault.
My fault?
Oh yeah.
My fault.
Well, shit. Oh well. I'm sure Donald Love will bounce back from this. He was never cut out for politics anyways. He should just focus on real estate.
Tony?
Sal, is that you?
Hey, shut up! Speaking to my lawyer here. Tony, I mean Lionel. Listen, they got me. Can you believe it? I'm up Shit's Creek without a paddle. Now get your ass over here. There's stuff I need you to take care of.
Lionel?
Things get worse when Salvatore calls. As it turns out, Leon wasn't lying, and the boss has been arrested. Time to head to Shoreside Vale and see how he's doing in jail. But before they'll let me see him, I'll need a clever disguise. Perfect. No one will suspect I'm really Tony Cipriani, and not Lionel, attorney at law.
He's your lawyer, Mr. Leone.
I know who the hell he is, pal. Come on, give me a break here. Go ahead, kid, run along. Say hello to your mother for me, gabish?
You got 5 minutes.
Listen, Lionel, you're looking good.
Checking in on the boss, he's unsure which family snitched on him. So he wants Tony to go after both the Sindacos and Forellis. First, we deal with the Forellis, picking up some of the Southside hoods to assist in attacking them. The hoods show up in GTA 3 in control of this area, though I didn't talk about them at all in that video, as I ended up skipping the payphone missions in Shoreside Vale. I'd tell you it was for time, as it was technically an optional mission, but I legit just forgot to do it. Next, we're putting an end to the Sindacos, as Sal has us ambush Paulie Sindaco and his men at the dam, killing him before he can escape by speedboat.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paulie Sindaco has left the building.
While the other mob families are now out of the equation, it's not the end of our troubles, as the Yakuza have moved into Staunton Island to fill the power vacuum. While Sal thinks we don't stand a chance with all their weapons, Tony decides to take his chances, ambushing their weapon storage and getting his hands on a tank. Oof. It always feels so damn good when these games give you a tank and just let you run wild. Unfortunately, we're not allowed to keep it and have to destroy it. I probably could have driven it into the water to get it done, but instead the game suggests taking it to 8 balls, to arm it with a bomb and blow it to pieces. Such a waste. But at least the Yakuza can't use it against us. After destroying the tank, Donald Love reaches out with a proposal.
Yeah.
Tony, it's Donald. No, wait, don't hang up. I've got a very exciting proposition for you. Please come by my current, residence, and I'll fill you in. Tony? Please, Tony, have a heart. I'm calling you from my last...
Kind of bold of him to call asking for help considering he blamed Tony for his campaign loss. But it can't hurt to hear him out. Also, around this time, a mysterious woman offers us some work.
Is this Mr. Cipriani?
Who's this? How'd you get my number?
If one puts their mind to it, one can achieve much. I shouldn't have to tell you that, Mr. Cipriani. I need your help in a delicate matter. For this help, you'll be richly rewarded. I will explain when you arrive at my apartment in Torrington.
Not sure what her deal is, but we'll find out later. I'm not sure how much time has passed since we last saw him, but it looks like Love wasn't lying about going bankrupt, as he now lives in some seedy hotel and is a total wreck. Again, nice touch with updating his model and giving him a beard. I know I keep praising it, but considering this was a portable game with a smaller budget, making a new model for just a few scenes still would have cost some decent time and money. So I think the devs deserve that praise for adding those extra touches. Driving to the airport, Love fills us in on his new plan to head to the top. It involves killing his mentor, Avery Carrington, and stealing his real estate plans. We previously saw Avery back in Vice City, along with a younger Donald Love. He's being guarded by the cartel, who might as well not even be there, as for some stupid reason, they decide to get out of their cars after I shoot at them, making Avery easy pickings after I spend like 3 minutes trying to catch up to him and kill him. Goodbye, Avery. You were pretty cool in Vice City, but they didn't get Burt Reynolds back to voice you in this game, so you might as well be a nobody. Unfortunately, someone saw our murder of a millionaire real estate tycoon in broad daylight, and we gotta get rid of the photos he took. Love tells us he's some undercover reporter working out of a church.
Where are the goddamn photos?
Don't hurt me.
Where are they?
Please, no.
Come on, you little pussy, give them up.
Okay, I'll get you the photos.
I stashed the film in my lockup.
Hey, wait, I know this guy. Scaring the reporter, he leads us back to his lockup where the photos are, but bamboozles us one last time and takes off. Cue a very long moped chase that I'm embarrassed lasted as long as it did, until I finally caught up and killed him. May God forgive you, because I sure don't. With all obstacles out of our way, Donald Love wants to celebrate. With another morgue party. Though instead of eating some rando, he wants to devour his recently deceased mentor, Avery, and that reporter. First we steal the ambulance with Avery's body, and leave it at Donald Love's jet hangar. And then go grab the reporter, Ned Burns' body before he's interred. What a way to go. We have one last job for Donald Love, the first part of which requires visiting 8-Ball to order some explosive hardware. It'll be a while till it's ready, so in the meantime, let's find out who that mysterious lady was.
So, this is the big tough gangster? You don't look so tough.
Thanks.
This is Toshiko Kasen, the wife of the Yakuza leader, Kazuki Kasen, who just so happens to be the older brother of Kenji and Asuka from GTA 3. Sorry, I meant Azuka. Some of you guys really harped on that dumb Asuka joke in that video. Someone remind me to make it even more obnoxious if I ever make a compilation video of all 3 PS2 GTA games. Toshiko here feels trapped in a loveless marriage and despises her husband. So she asks for Tony's assistance in sabotaging his operation. First, we kill a small army of his men down by the docks, stealing his arms shipment and selling it to Toshiko's contact. Hey, well if it isn't good old Phil Cassidy. I see you're still rocking one arm. Don't go telling people you fought in Nicaragua or something. Returning to Toshiko, next she asks Tony to ambush her husband's security vans and destroy the money coming out of his casino. Afterwards, she asks Tony to accompany her to the opera, hoping to piss off her husband by being spotted going out with another man. The opera, huh? Wonder what kind of show they're putting on. Wow, that's some pretty good special effects for an opera. I wonder how they made that fire look so realistic. Toshiko's plan works. As she fills this in, Kazuki is now moving in to kill her and Tony. Taking the fight to him instead, we kill his men and have a final battle with Kazuki at the top of his casino.
My men dishonor me, but it is fitting that I kill you myself. You too, leave us. I am going to enjoy thrusting my sword into you.
Yeah, I heard that about you.
Sorry, Kazuki. You shouldn't have brought a katana to a gunfight. After killing him, we bring his sword back to Toshiko as proof of his death.
So, Toshiko, it's over now.
She thanks Tony for what he's done, freeing her bird from its cage, before freeing herself from life, and throwing herself out the window. A metaphor, you see, for escaping her own cage. It's too bad there wasn't more to Toshiko. I liked her dynamic with Tony. I think they could have made a good couple. Now's around the time 8-Ball calls up, having finished getting the explosives ready for Donald Love's final plan. He wants Tony to head under Fort Staunton and drive the truck full of explosives through the unfinished tunnel. While down there, you have to keep the car from being destroyed, while also setting the explosives in key areas. Once they're all set, you're on a timer to get the hell out of there before they explode. And, they sure do explode.
Now, I'm a decent guy.
Jesus Christ, I thought I was just going to cave in the tunnels and kill some Italian mobsters. How many people did Tony kill just now? He doesn't really seem bothered by it, or Donald Love either for that matter, as Tony finds him meditating when we go check on him. Love is now back on top, having cleaned himself up and landing the development deal to rebuild the chunk of the city we blew up. He's got one teensy problem though. The Colombians are on their way to kill him for refusing to pay them a bribe. So we need to protect him, fight our way out, and get to the airport. And in another callback, or call forward I guess since this game is a prequel, the place Love was staying at just so happens to be the same mansion that Catalina was staying at during the final mission of GTA 3. With Love escaping, we're at the end of the game, with just a few loose ends to tie up. First, all of our antics have somehow helped Salvatore get arraigned, and get him his day in court to fight the charges against him. But he's worried the Sicilians will kill him on the way there, so we need to steal a cop car and act as an escort for his security, taking out the assassins and driving through their barricades. Interestingly, the devs put a hard anti-cheat method into this mission, as if you activate or have certain cheats running here, Salvatore will get shot before you leave the police station. I couldn't find any footage of it, but plenty of forum posts discussing it. From what I can tell, either using the health cheat or the pedestrian riot cheat will cause it to happen. Considering this is one of the harder missions and the second to last mission of the game, I guess this was a way for the devs to punish cheating players right before the end. With Salvatore surviving, we just have one loose end to clean up: the Sicilians.
Hey, Tony!
So, you're back where you belong.
Hey, we're both back. You and me, we did it, huh?
You know it.
We cleaned it up with the Forellis, the Sindacos we sent into the fucking sea. Now I got the Sicilians on the phone wanting peace.
Salvatore refuses to accept the Sicilians' deal for peace, especially since all this crap going on was caused by them in the first place. Instead, he'd rather be the one in control of the city, on his own terms. And to do that, we first gotta get the mayor to drop the charges against him. On the way there, we'll have to fight off Sicilian wise guys. And when we do make it, the mayor's already gone. Massimo had beaten us to the punch and kidnapped him. What, don't you remember him? You know Massimo. This guy. Yeah, the main antagonist of the game we've seen only once before now. We'll head to the pier and hop on a boat to give chase, going through another turret section as we fight off dozens of Sicilian boats trying to kill us, till eventually we corner Massimo at the top of the lighthouse.
Torini, it figures. Give him up. The mayor is mine. This city is mine.
Salvatore, Sicily never wanted questo schifo di città. But when tribute driver, what could we do? It was nothing personal.
Nothing personal? After what you put me through, I'm gonna tear your fucking heart out.
Then it's one final battle against his chopper, mirroring the ending to GTA 3 as we shoot it out of the sky. Afterwards, the mayor gives us his thanks for saving him, dropping the charges against Salvatore and pledging his loyalty to the family. Before the game ends, we meet up with Salvatore's uncle, a member of the Sicilian mob there to confirm the peace and that there will be no retaliation from the old country. Though, as he leaves, he does drop this line.
Every dog has his day.
Foreshadowing Salvatore's fate in GTA 3. And for all our hard work and loyalty, Salvatore gives Tony the money he promised him.
So I got you that $500,000 I promised.
Half? Ooh, I thought you, said a couple.
I said $1 million. For what? You can put a price on friendship? The kind of friendship you and me have? Shame on you. Come here.
Well, half of it anyways. And that was Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories. So what did I think? I'll be honest, I feel a little conflicted, but also mostly positive. This game is definitely the easiest GTA I've played for the channel, with simplistic missions that tend to be very short, most of them barely lasting a couple minutes. The cast of the game is also probably the smallest, as there's a severe lack of mission givers, the majority of the missions you do in-game coming from Salvatore Leone. Important NPCs are also part of that problem. As I brought up earlier, the game makes it seem like only Salvatore and Tony are part of the Leone family. We get 2 glorified cameos of Mickey, But there's no sign of Luigi or Sal's son Joey, even though he's mentioned in-game and his garage is already set up in the city. Its story is a step up above 3's, but not by much, as it still has the feeling of being a loosely connected set of missions. At first it works well, as it's there to follow Tony's rise to power, and the Leones taking control of Liberty City, but the main villains, the Sicilians, and Massimo barely show up. Massimo himself only having one appearance till the final mission. But you have to remember, this was a portable GTA game. It's a little unfair, and unrealistic for that matter, to expect the exact same experience of the console games, especially since this game followed the masterpiece that was San Andreas. Concessions had to be made to get it on the PSP. While they did an amazing job getting Liberty City to fit on a UMD, I doubt they could make anything too big or ambitious that could run on the PSP or fit on the disc. And as I mentioned a few times before, the budget for this game was no doubt a lot smaller compared to its console brothers, explaining why we revisit Liberty City in the first place. No doubt it was cheaper to reuse the assets from an existing game than try and build new ones from scratch. And of course explaining the lack of big-name celebrities voice acting this time around. Though that's equally explained by the fact that GTA was on top of the gaming world at that point and hugely mainstream, so any celebrities signing up was definitely going to be asking for a fat check for even just a few line reads. Side note, this is why devs should prioritize actual voice actors and not celebrities. You won't be forking over millions just for a name on the box, and voice actors will always sound better than their regular acting counterparts. But returning to the missions, they were short and overwhelmingly easy, but that's to be expected for a portable game. Before mobile games erased them from existence, the point of handhelds and portable games was to be easy to pick up, play for a bit, and then put down. You know, booting up a game to play for a half hour while you were on the bus, waiting for a haircut, or sitting in the back of your parents' car. And while we could argue back and forth about the difficulty, I'm not saying portable games can't be hard. Trust me, I've played plenty of frustrating RPGs and games on the Game Boy Advance. Part of the problem was the PSP's design, as it lacked an extra analog nub and 2 extra shoulder buttons. Not to mention you were playing the game on a smaller screen. So trying to bring the exact mission design and difficulty of its console counterparts would have made a more frustrating experience, especially since this was the first 3D portable GTA game. But who knows, maybe they figured that stuff out with Vice City Stories. But I'll find out for myself when I play it for the channel. But with the caveat that this is a portable game, I have to say, I had a lot of fun playing Liberty City Stories. It's been a while since I've had the sensation of not wanting to put a game down. Don't get me wrong, the last few videos I did, San Andreas especially, were a lot of fun to play. But something about this one felt different. Like it found the right hooks to sink into me to get me to play again after a session. I don't think I've mentioned this before, but when it comes to recording game footage, I tend to do it in hour chunks at a time. This is mainly to make it easy to take notes, but also to avoid any issues if a recording goes bad, and I don't lose a whole day's worth of footage. I think it's that pick up and play feeling, the shorter missions, and the novelty of riding a bike in Liberty City that really got me hooked. The game added some decent extras like the bike races, bike challenges, car sales, Slash TV, and more to give me plenty to do outside of the main missions. And the unlockable costumes were a nice touch. It brought over the important improvements from San Andreas like the weightier driving and the better lock-on, not counting PC ports. This game definitely has the best manual aiming, though that's obvious because you have the option to slow down the movement of the reticle. Overall, I really enjoyed playing Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories. I wouldn't call it my favorite, but it's definitely up there. The upscaled textures on the PSP emulation makes me wish Rockstar had Grove Street Games do something closer to this with the definitive edition, instead of the buggy plastic Play-Doh look they went with instead. I think a lot of you would really enjoy this easier and shorter Grand Theft Auto game. You have to remember that it wasn't going to do everything its console brothers could, and that its enjoyment came from being able to play GTA on the go, but I think they knocked it out of the park with what they tried to do. And if what I've heard in the comments is true, Vice City Stories would end up topping that experience, to the point some of you have claimed it's your favorite in the series. I still haven't played it yet, but I have to say, I'm excited to play soon. Maybe it will surprise me and make me regret not playing it sooner, but I'll find out in the future. And that's the video. Thanks for watching, guys. It feels nice to play another GTA game. I've had fun playing games that weren't a crime sim sandbox game, but it's hard to resist the allure for long. Next time, I'm tackling the first Saints Row game. Full disclaimer, this will be the first time I've actually played it, as I'm kinda new to the series and only started playing back in 2020, with Saints Row 3, 4, and eventually 2. After that, I'll be doing something different, and then more GTA likes. Damn, this month is stacked for games. I've been having a blast with Hogwarts Legacy, but now Like a Dragon Ishin is about to drop, and then Atomic Hearts after that, and then Resident Evil 4 Remake in March. I really need to find a way to manage my time better to get all these games done. I'll keep you guys posted about what I want to work on next, and like I've done before, I'll get your input about what to cover. I'm trying to get into the habit of shilling it more, so if you want, follow me on Instagram. I really just post what I'm playing, thumbnails for my videos, and my latest figure purchase, but I'm hoping to do a little more with it soon. Again, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and comment down below. What do you think of GTA Liberty City Stories? Did you enjoy it, or is it too underwhelming compared to the games before it? And if you're new to the channel, I'd appreciate it if you've subscribed. I'm FuzzySlippers, and I'll see you later. Peace.